Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this, we're going to be testing the new Fire King support. So I just wanted to start right away with the new Ponix. So Ponix is the latest monster that we got. It's probably the last card that we're going to see for the structure deck. Yeah, I think it's going to be, this one card combo kind of shows you what the card does here. So here we're going to normal summon out Ponix, use Ponix, search out our Sanctuary of the the Fire Kings here. Then we can search out our Fire King Island, pop Ponix, and then get Garanix. So this is a good thing about Garanix, is that if you guys don't know, he's actually able to special summon himself out, even if he wasn't there even when you add him to your hand. Even if he wasn't there during the destruction, you can still special summon him out, as you can see in the text. And it's pretty powerful because not only does he get summoned, and he's a level 8 beater with 2700 attack that lets you go into the Exceed monster, but he also serves as a way of destroying a monster from your deck, and you can see that going on here. So here we're going to use this to destroy Barong. Then during the standby phase, we can use Barong's effect here to add any Fire King card. So we're going to get Fire King High Avatar Kirin, and Ponix's other effect will actually let us add him here, so we can add Ponix as well, which is great because it gives us a target for Kirin. So now we can use Fire Avatar High King Kirin to pop the Ponix, and that's great because Ponix comes back during our next turn, so we can deal with that. And now we have two level 8 monsters, which means we're set up to actually exceed something during our opponent's turn using the new continuous spell Sanctuary of the Fire Kings. So now when our opponent special summons a monster, we can exceed summon, go into our Fire King deity Garanix Eternity. And now we can use Eternity here to pop the board. It's a one card combo that gives you a rank 8 exceed that destroys your opponent's board during their turn. So it's pretty solid in my opinion. Okay guys, so now before we continue with all the Ponix combos, I wanted to show you guys some of the other combos that came with the first line of support that I never really got to test and show you guys. It's pretty powerful on its own here. So you're going to see I'm going to play the Sanctuary of the Fire Kings. From there we can add Fire King Island. Then we can pop Kirin and get out our Garanix. So use Kirin's effect here in order to special summon out the Arvada. Then we can use Kirin's effect to destroy a card on the board, so we're going to pop Arvada there, and use Garanix's effect in order to destroy a card in the deck. Then with Arvada we can actually bring out our Kirin, and that gives us a way of getting out our Garanix Eternity. And then we can we could also pop our Fire King High Avatar Garanix during our turn here using our Garanix in order to pop this card from the deck. And during the standby phase, we can bring this card out, pop our Exceed monster, which is fine because now we get our materials back. Or it doesn't have to be the materials, they could just be any Fire King monster, just equal to the amount of materials on your Exceed monster, which is great here. So I'm going to be doing exactly that. And now you can see that I'm set up to basically get my rank 8 exceed, as you saw. And not only that, but I have Fire King Avatar Arvada, which if you guys don't know, when a monster effect is activated while this monster is in the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy one other fire monster in your hand or field. So it's really cool. It's basically a monster negate. Doesn't destroy, but you can destroy one of your Fire King cards. So here we're gonna see that it won't work as well. Like if you have an extra card in your hand as a Fire King monster, that's perfect. Here it would suck to have to use it because you will have to destroy one of your Fire King monsters. So ideally you wouldn't have to use it, or you have a card in your hand so you don't ruin the combo. And now I'm going to use the continuous spell in order to get our Garanix Eternity. So here we're going to pop the board, of course, and then we can use Arvada here in order to bring out Kirin. And the reason I brought out Kirin is because during the end phase, when Kirin is destroyed, because of Arvada's effect, I can bring back my Arvada and then pop an extra card on the board. And of course, during the standby phase, if for some reason my opponent had something like set up afterwards, we can use this to nuke the board. So it's pretty fun just being able to use this to constantly nuke the board during the standby phases. So you can see I'm going to do exactly that, then just recycle a bunch of things, get a bunch of monsters out on the board. And yeah, it's a pretty powerful setup, and this is all using like support before Ponix. Alright guys, so this is less of a combo, but I wanted to show you this interesting interaction between Arvada and Kirin that I think is important to knowing how to use the deck. And since this is a testing video, I thought it was important to show that. So here you're going to see I'm just going to normal summon Arvada, then we're going to use Effect Veiler to try to negate it. And before we let this go off, we can actually use Kirin to pop it so that it's not actually on the board. So then we can do this in order to prevent that Effect Veiler from going off, and you can see I negated my opponent's Kieran by doing that. So that's a great way of just protecting your negations. You can use Kieran during your opponent's turn. It's pretty nice just by popping any other fire monster in your hand or face of field. So of course, if you want to destroy Arvada, that's perfect. And yeah, it's pretty annoying, and it creates an interesting interaction that I think is important for you to know. Alright guys, so here's another Ponix combo. So this is a Ponix combo using Sanctuary of the Fire Kings. So we're going to activate Sanctuary of the Fire Kings, get our Fire King Island. Then we can use Ponix here in order to search out a Fire King Sacred Immolation. Then we can get Garanix, so it's going to be the same thing as we did before. Here, get out Garanix. You're going to see that Garanix is just a popular card to get out just because it's so good. It gives you so much value by being able to pop a card in your deck. And also just being a level 8 beater is nice. And then here you see that I popped the Barong for my deck, so that gives me the ability to get out Kieran. So I'm going to be doing exactly that. So now I'm just going to let my opponent play it out a little bit. Wait for him to get something out. Then I can go into my rank 8. Now this is of course a chance to pop the board. And then after that, I can use something like Fire King Sacred Immolation. So then I can pop my Exceed monster and one card of my opponent's side of the field, and then get out my materials here. Use something like Garanix in order to pop Fire King High Avatar Garanix. So I can pop Fire King High Avatar Garanix, and then during the standby phase, he's going to be able to pop the entire board. So it's pretty annoying. It's a good setup, and you can see using Ponix, if you already have something like Sanctuary of the Fire Kings or the field spell, you can still use Ponix in order to search something out and then play it from there. So that's what's pretty good about the card, and it definitely provides new value for the deck and just increases the overall consistency. Okay guys, so this is the final combo that I wanted to show you. So it's using Sanctuary of the Fire Kings and Fire King Avatar Barong. So it's a little bit of different combo, and that's why I wanted to show you this, because a lot of it just kind of plays through the same lines a little bit. So we're going to use this Fire King Island in order to pop Barong, to get out our Garanix as usual, then pop out the other Barong. And now during our standby phase, we can actually use both of our Barongs in order to search out the High Avatar Kieran and get ourselves our Garanix. So now we can use Kieran here in order to pop it. So that just gives us a way of popping the entire board during our own standby phase, as we are playing during our opponent's turn right now. And now we're going to let our opponent get these monsters out. Go into the Exceed monster. And then you can see here during the standby phase, I'm going to be able to summon out our monster, pop out our Exceed, and as you know, the Exceed monster is going to let me get out 2 monsters. So here I'm going to actually opt to get my Fire King Avatar Barong and get my Sacred Fire King Garanix, and then use Garanix's effect in order to pop our Arvada, and then Arvada lets me special summon out our other copy of Barong. So the nice thing about doing this is that I'm actually able to Exceed summon into Brother the Fire Fist Tiger King. And I haven't really shown this yet, but Tiger King is an amazing card for this deck, just because you can get it out with 2 low 4 Beast Warriors, and you have a good amount of them in the form of Arvada and in the form of Barong. So we can use this in order to get out Tenki. Then here I activated Fire Fist Tiger King. So Tiger King, once returned, you can touch a material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up effect monsters currently on the field, except for Beast Warriors. So perfect, you can use this in order to negate the entire board before you Exceed summon into something like Draglubion, and then go into Numeron Dragon, and then just pop and attack your opponent for a lot of damage. So you can see it's a pretty powerful setup, and I thought it was a good combo to show you guys that just kind of rounds up the entire deck. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.